In this short video, we'll be discussing the impact of cars and how they've changed the world to be what it is today. The evolution of cars. Cars have come a long way, and just about everyone nowadays owns a vehicle, as is its a necessary means of transportation. The typical car today has more technology in it than computers did back in the early 90s. They are becoming more efficient in energy consumption and gas efficiency. But that wasn't always the case. Vehicles weren't always as efficient as they are today. Dating back to the early 1700s was the birth of the first automobile. A man by the name of Carl Benz was the first ever to revolutionize cars and gave them birth. Carl had got many practical experiences by working with many different mechanical engineering companies and colleges, until finally one day he was able to open up a small shop of his own. In the beginning, he didn't have much success with his business and was about ready to give up all hope and pursue a different career, until one day his wife gave him a little persuasion and motivation that was much needed. He then went back to the drawing board and invented his first gas-powered engine vehicle in 1885. Later, he received a patent for his invention in 1886, and then Carl had went on to produce many more vehicles when he had seen the success he had began his own mass production of vehicles. Unfortunately, it all came to a halt when he passed away in 1929 in his home, leaving behind a legacy. He was known as one of the fathers of the automobile. The impact vehicles have had across the world. Since the 20th century, the role of the car has become highly important and controversial. It is used throughout the world and has become the most popular mode of transportation in the more developed countries. In developing countries, the effect of cars on society are not as visible. However, they are significant nonetheless, and positive effects on access to remote places and the mobility comfort provided by the automobile, allowing people to geographically increase their social and economic interactions. Although the introduction of the mass-produced cars represented a revolution in industry and convenience, creating job demands, tax revenue, the high motorization rates also brought severe consequences to the society and to the environment. The modern negative consequence of heavy automotive use include the use of non-renewable fuels, a dramatic increase in the rate of accidental death, the disconnection of local community, the decrease of local economy, the rise in obesity and cardiovascular disease, the pollution of air, noise pollution, and traffic of pedestrians and other means of transport, decrease in the railway networking, busing, and taxis all have been affected due to people owning more cars. Automotive careers. Whether you work part-time as an Uber, work as a mechanic for a corporation, or even own your own business, the number of vehicles in use is on the rise, and so is the need for more mechanics, collision repair technicians, and many other automotive careers. The automotive industry is a wide range of companies and organizations involved in the design, development, manufacturing, marketing, and selling of motor vehicles. Even though cutting-edge technology cuts back on the number of workers needed to do repair work, automotive careers are still expected to increase over the next 10 years. Jobs for mechanics should grow from 700,000, reported in 2012, to 760,000 by the year of 2022. And auto body and glass repair jobs are projected to increase from 170,000 to 195,000 in the same amount of time. It is used to be that high school diploma was enough to get your foot into the door in the automotive industry. However, statistics report that technology is more sophisticated these days. Therefore, formal training programs have sprouted up in the community and technical colleges, and more employers are looking for certifications from these programs rather than providing on-the-job experience. Even for entry-level positions, most programs are typically a year or less to obtain completion. Car culture. Over time, the car has evolved beyond being a means of transportation. People who appreciate cars for their craftsmanship, their performance, as well as the vast array of activities one can partake in with his or her cars, like racing or off-roading, for example. Cars had a significant effect on the culture of the United States and all across the globe. as with all types of other vehicles, cars were incorporated into artworks, including music, paintings, books, and movies. Between 1905 and 1908, more than 120 songs were written about automobiles alone. Now that number has risen to the thousands since. The rise of car culture during the 20th century played an important role cultural-wise in the cinema, mainly through blockbusters. Big movies such as James Bond movies, the Fast and Furious series, and other action-packed movies were always provided on scene with powerful automobiles, which through time have become cultural, iconic vehicles. Many car clubs have been set up to facilitate social interactions and companionship amongst those who take pride in owning, maintaining, driving, and showing off their vehicles to one another. Why vehicles are so important. In this fast-paced world, managing your personal and professional lives can be really hectic, especially if you don't have your own personal mode of transportation. Some perks of owning a vehicle are convenience and independence, because sometimes you can't always rely on public transportation, as it could be a hassle always having to ask others for rides. Another benefit of owning your own vehicle, is that you can save money and you don't always have to pay your friends or family $20 here and there for gas. Not to mention, Ubers and catching the city bus also can be expensive too. They tend to add up fairly quickly. So I consider vehicles a great investment. If you take care of your vehicle, in the long run, your vehicle will take care of you in return. So to sum this video up, whether you see your vehicle just as a means of transportation, it's an absolute necessity in today's world and should be treated as such. So take care of your car, choose your vehicles wisely and appropriate to your needs. I know vehicles can be expensive to buy or to fix when they break down, but remember this. Consider it an investment rather than a waste of money when buying a new vehicle or simply just getting it fixed. You will be glad you did.